Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWine Radio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.
Bonjour. Je suis Cécile Bonnefond, the president for Piper Heidsieck and Charles Heidsieck.
Welcome to Wine and Dine Radio. I'm Lynn Creelo-Chamberlain.
Hi there, this is Andreas Larsson.
Hi, this is John Capon.
My name is Madhur Jaffrey.
Hi, my name is Heike Platter. I'm from the Alto Adige region, or Südtirol.
Hi, my name is Paul Dolan. I am absolutely passionate about growing organic and biodynamic fruit for our wines.
Hello, my name is Lorena Garcia.
Hello, my name is Fritz Maytag.
This is Joyce Locke. I'm the author of Foodie Fight.
Hi, this is Lydia Mandave, founder of 29 Cosmetics.
Cheers, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of ThinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect.
This time of year, more than any time of year, people tend to celebrate moments with champagne. And I'm so very pleased today to be able to bring to you a conversation with Cécile Bonnefond, who is the president of two distinct champagne houses, which have reputations that are absolutely global in their immensity and significance, and that is Champagne Charles Heidsieck and Champagne Piper Heidsieck. And for the first course on Wine and Dine this week, we're going to focus on Charles Heidsieck, and for the second course on Piper Heidsieck. And she's joining us from the opera, about to watch Carmen. And I thank you so very much for joining us today, Cécile. And so tell us, the name of Charles Heidsieck has world renown, respect and significance, and what is available for people right now around the world to purchase?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me today. And Charles Heidsieck is a house which dates from 1851, so it's a very old house, and as a very classical house, it has as the real knowledge for the consumers is Charles Heidsieck Brut, and then we have a rosé, and then we have vintages, and then we have a prestige cuvée which is called Blanc des Millénaires. But what you need to be able to do is really convince and seduce your consumers by the Brut.
Oh, I like that. Convince and seduce. Okay, so so talk to us about the Brut.
Yeah, the Brut is really, in Champagne, the Brut is, for most of houses, is about, I would say, 80%
of the sales
of the sales of any Champagne house. So that's what really most of the consumers will know, and that's the wine on which they will say, "I love it," or it's my preferred champagne, or it's really what makes people's opinion. And what does a Brut, non-vintage Brut means?
Yes.
It means that it is a blend of wines from one particular vintage, but also wines from previous vintages. So the art of champagne is the art of blending. You take a lot of different wines from one year and you blend it with wine from previous years, which are there to compensate for what the very year is about. So if you have had a very warm year, you take vintages from wines from years where the climate was cold. When you have a year with a lot of rain, you tend to complement the wines of that very year with wines from a very dry or very rainy year. So every year it's an art of blending, which the cellar master is really painting himself.
So a brut champagne there is a range of dosage.
Yes.
And there is a minimum aging on the lees. And so could you tell us what it, like compared to peers in the Champagne Brut category, is Charles a drier style Brut? Is it a fruity style Brut? Is it less fruity style Brut? That sort of thing, to give people a little bit more insight.
Sure. So Brut non-vintage, I have explained the non-vintage. Now you're right. Brut, what does it mean? You have to add some sugar into the champagne at what we call disgorgement time, and knowing that what makes champagne different from any other wine is that you have two fermentations. And once this is over, that's when you add some sugar. Brut means between 9 and 15 grams of sugar per bottle. And as far as Charles is concerned, it's right in the middle. We're around 11 grams of dosage. And that's what most wines are, between 9 and 11. So you can have, it's today sometimes fashion that you can get what we call ultra brut, which is really very, very low dosage.
Yes.
But where you really need to be an expert, because those wines are sometimes demanding to be drunk.
Yes.
While the non-vintage is really the Brut is really the regular dosage that most consumers enjoy.
Okay, and so it's the Charles Heidsieck is a blend of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. Yes.
Yes.
In equal. I'm sorry. Go on.
This is the definition of champagne. Champagne is the blend mostly of those three varietals: Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. Some champagne will be Blanc de Blanc, only Chardonnay. Some champagne will be Blanc de Noir, only Pinot Noir. But most champagnes are a blend of those three cépages, three varietals, in different proportions. What is the characteristic of Charles Heidsieck is that it's exactly one-third of each, and that's very unique.
Aha. Okay, and for people who are maybe accustomed to drinking a cava or a spumante or a California sparkling wine, which tend to be fruitier, compare a Charles Heidsieck Brut to that?
Oh, it's very different. First, it's a champagne, so you can only grow champagne in the Champagne region, which means that there is a very special terroir, which is chalk. There are rules about the way you run the vineyard. It's 100% hand harvested. It has to be a minimum of 15 months on the lees, and it is very, very precisely defined in the way you run the vineyard to the way you do the whole winemaking. So it's first a champagne, and two, most of those names that you just mentioned, or appellation that you mentioned,
yes,
are with very different grapes. It's only champagne which has that exact short list of grapes,
yes,
of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. The others can have very different grapes depending on the regions where they grow.
Yes, yes.
And then the way we the double fermentation that we have, and the fact that the second fermentation has to be in the bottle, makes the taste of champagne different. It has usually very, very fine bubbles, which is often seen as a testimony of quality.
Yes.
It is often softer, and it is often it has more length in the mouth. So as far as Charles Heidsieck is concerned, Charles Heidsieck is known for its huge complexity in the fact that it is really creamy, very unctuous, very gourmand, as we say in French, and the bubbles are ultra fine because our champagne ages in the chalk cellars, which are very, very, very low under the ground and the surface. It's very rare. Only 5 champagne houses have got those chalk cellars, which date from the Roman time, so really first millennium, and that gives the champagne a very specific taste and the tiniest bubbles that you can dream of.
How many does Charles Heidsieck for the Brut follow the minimum aging entourage after the second fermentation in the bottle, or is it extended?
No, it's extended and by a lot.
Yes.
And today, what we've just put on the market in September 2012 is Harvest 2008.
Wow.
So instead of 15 months, it's really more like 4 years.
Wow.
And we write it on the bottles. So if you look on the back label of every bottle, you will have the date of the harvest and the date of the disgorgement. And compared to 15 months, which is the rule in Champagne,
yes,
we think that, frankly, time is probably the fourth varietal. It's so Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, Chardonnay, and time.
Oh my gosh! How fantastic! Is Charles Heidsieck champagne extraordinarily popular in Britain?
It used to be extremely popular for one reason, beyond the taste, which is Charles Heidsieck himself. Charles Heidsieck was the first man who ever put a foot on the American territory, and he was known as Champagne Charlie.
Yes,
and that's a great character.
Oh yes. Oh, and that's a whole nother story, and that links back to Civil War times, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And Abraham Lincoln and the rest. Absolutely. Great man.
Oh, my. Well,
great man, great champagne.
Cécile Bonnefond, we're going to continue our conversation with you for the second course on Wine and Dine, and I thank you so very much for your time. We'll be right
Merci.
back. We will have links up for you to learn more. We'll be right back. We are continuing our conversation with Cécile Bonnefond, who is, in addition to being the president of the champagne firm of Charles Heidsieck, is also the president of the distinctly separate champagne firm of Piper Heidsieck, which is very different wine indeed. So, Cécile, could you please talk to us about Piper Heidsieck? And people might be confused. Both champagne firms have the last name of Heidsieck. One is Charles Heidsieck, one is Piper Heidsieck. Could you explain to us why the same last name?
Yes, sure. You've certainly noticed that in Champagne you've got a lot of German names.
Yes.
Bollinger, Tettinger, Krug, Heidsieck. Because the Germans would come to this region either because of the textile industry, where they were pretty big in terms of trading, and that was the major industry in the Champagne region, and then they fell in love with winemaking, and they would stay there. So that's how the Heidsieck family came first, and the first Heidsieck family branch, was really Piper's Heidsieck's branch. Therefore, creating the company in 1785, one of the oldest champagne houses. And then, long after, like 60 years later, came in Charles Heidsieck, one of the nephews of one of the cousins of the first Heidsieck. So it's just a very, very different branch. And because you're in one region, it did happen that you had people from the same name. I mean, you have the Laurent Perrier and the Perrier Jouet.
Yes, yes.
So two Perriers, you have two Heidsieck's. Very different families, very different wines, very different histories.
Does the company have an extensive library documenting all of this history?
Yes, when you are lucky enough to run a champagne house, it's all about history and stories and where do you come from and who were the people who made those houses. It is, it's very rare in many countries that you have houses like Piper Heidsieck dating from the 18th century. 18th century. We still had a king and a queen in France when Piper Heidsieck was created. I mean, that's an old, very old house and a very old name in Champagne.
Mm.
Marie Antoinette was still on the throne.
Oh my gosh! Did she drink Piper Heidsieck champagne?
Well, it is said that the dream of Mr. Heidsieck at that time, Florent Louis Heidsieck, he wanted to blend a champagne worth of a queen, and that's what he used to call excellence. Is my champagne worth of a queen?
Oh, that's very good goals. And obviously that has come to pass around the world. So how is Piper Heidsieck? Talk to us about Piper Heidsieck. It is, I'm assuming, and I didn't read up on this beforehand, so forgive me, that the cépage blend of Piper Heidsieck is different from Charles Heidsieck.
Yeah, it's very different because that's what the house has always been doing. It's Piper Heidsieck is a big name. It is a number 3 international champagne house. And what is interesting is that it has just been acquired 17 months ago by a family. So it has been on and on part of family estates, and the fact that it is back to be owned by a family is really interesting in terms of the personality of the house and the freedom it gives us for the wines. The wines are in Piper Heidsieck are known to be very structured, and that comes from the level of Pinot Noir that we have. Pinot Noir is one of the cépages of Burgundy, and Piper Heidsieck is very, very Burgundy oriented. We have vineyard down there, and it is therefore very structured. It is very ample. It's a wine that is classic, that is well balanced, which has the perfect color that for champagne, that sort of green gold that is known for champagne, and it is very fruity. And if you talk about Charles is more in the area of pastry. It's unctuous, it's creamy.
Okay.
While Piper Heidsieck is very, very fruity. So if you taste the Brut for Piper Heidsieck, you will taste that sort of very fresh apples, very fresh pear, and it's a very, very pleasant champagne for the aperitif. It goes very, very well with simple food like pasta, like fresh fish, like good ham, and it's a champagne which is built on its structure, again width and very long lasting in the mouth, and then the fruit aspect of it. Very classy, very classy.
And how many months en tirage is the Piper Heidsieck Brut aged for?
Well, we like to age Piper Heidsieck between 24 and 36 months, which is far beyond
right
what the regulations of champagnes call for. We think that aging a good champagne is like aging a good wine, and a good wine needs some aging, and the complexity and the size of the champagne and the finesse of the bubbles come with time.
You keep talking about bubbles, and I understand what you're saying, but some people might not understand what you're saying. So I would like to give a little bit of an analogy. If someone were to open a bottle of wine that's very inexpensive and is very much artificially carbonated or in a big steel container under pressure, like some of the beers are, the bubbles explode in your mouth, and it almost like it forces your mouth open and up your nose. But what you're talking about, bubbles are the bubbles are so small because of the long aging that it's actually dissolved in the wine.
Absolutely, that's good bubbles are about.
And it's so beautiful to watch in the glass, that stream coming up. It reminds me of bubble lights on a Christmas tree.
Yes, absolutely. That's why for Piper Heidsieck we say it's like moments in light. When you open a bottle and you pour it into a glass, there is no better way than having a glass of champagne like Piper Heidsieck and say, I love you, I like you, congratulations, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. I mean, it's a celebration drink. It's a wonderful way of saying the most important and nice things in life.
You mentioned with Charles Heidsieck the range of the different wines that are available. Talk to us about the range of the different wines available with Piper Heidsieck, and we've already talked about the Brut. So
yes, beyond the Brut, you've got a rosé which we call rosé sauvage. Sauvage in French means wild.
Yes, I love that word.
And why is it sauvage? Because it's a rosé which has a lot of personality. It has got almost a strawberry color. It is very, very fruity, as all Piper Heidsieck wines. You think you're eating into a strawberry or even into some of the blackberries and very. A lot of those berries, wow. be they black or red.
Okay.
Then you've got the vintages, and today we just finished vintage 2004. We're going to move on 2006, but this already 2004 has been one of the most awarded vintage of the world by a lot of experts around the world. And then you have got a vintage rosé, which is very subtle. And then the top of the range is called rare, which is rare, which is a wine which is aged much longer, and which is very, very, very delicate. It's like in the fruit range, it's more like the lychees and the very exotic fruits, very, very delicate in terms of the taste and in terms again of the structure of the wine. So we've got a complete range, but it's like going into a basket of fruits, and every wine has got its special fruit in it, which you can, and you may want to have one for some occasion and the other for the next occasion.
Or kind of like the 12 days of Christmas, you could have, as a present, you could have all the different styles from Charles Heidsieck and all the different styles from Piper Heidsieck, and oh, what a wonderful gift that would be.
Starting at breakfast.
Oh, okay, so talk to us for breakfast. Let's say Christmas morning or New Year breakfast, what champagne would you serve?
Well, I think for brunch, which is, just late morning, personally, I would pick the Brut because I think it's fresh, it's fun, it's interesting, it's it's really it goes with a lot of simple ingredients.
And gets the
so
day.
That would be certainly my favorite.
Oh my gosh. Cécile Bonnefond, we thank you so very much for joining us today on Wine and Dine. It's been such a pleasure talking to you.
And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you.
We will have links up for you to learn more. And also, we would like to thank Gary Westby of KL Wine Merchants for setting this up for us. Now, you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWine Radio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWine Radio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.